picking up where we left off, Roswen is visited by her future self. This Roswen is entirely different than the current Roswen. An arm is missing and has been kind of regrown with a sort of plant-like structure. She's sort of stuck in a weird halfway transformation where one wing is feathered, one eye is pure silver. She's very different and seems very, very much older and very much world-worn compared to the previous or the current iteration of Roswen. She tells her that through great magic she was able to come back, but wanted to tell her that her heart may say, let Ava keep doing what she's doing. You have to deal with this, but you don't have to deal with this right now. And she tells Roswen that unfortunately, in her timeline, they lose. Tiamat rises. Several of the party and their friends are felled in the final battle, and they're just dealing with the aftermath as an underground resistance. She tells them that the tipping point that they think is what caused this is that Ava continued slaying dragons with abandon and slayed additional metallic dragons, one of the twin sisters of one of the copper dragons, who is part of the Metallic Dragon Council, and in doing so, the metallic dragons withdraw completely from the fight and do not aid in any way. In doing so, that large asset is denied the forces of good, and the party fails ultimately in their efforts to stop Tiamat's rise. So she says, I know it's going to be difficult, but I want you to have a chance to do what I didn't, and I want you to be better than me. And while it may be difficult, and perhaps she can be swayed, but you need to deal with Ava now before that happens. So the party, through tracking and various means, end up figuring out and calling out Ava. They find that Ava has put together an elite team of dragon slayers in and of herself, and a massive battle ensues between the Belladonnas and the group that I titled Ava's Angels, which I don't think anybody actually knows. The battle is hard. Belladonnas are going down left and right. Leo is unconscious. He gets back up. And then in a string of very short back-to-back moments by enemy attacks, both Rid and Odella are killed. Not talking death saving throws. They are slain and dead, beyond the help of any magics except for those that can bring them back. Roswen eventually talks to Ava and manages to find out and have a very heartfelt moment before she, in a painless way, through the grace of Selene, fells her sister and sends her from this plane of existence, ending and thus securing the metallic dragons' efforts on their side. But now they need to deal with the more important aspect of they have two fallen party members, and due to the way things are, no one had prepared any sort of resurrection-based magic. They use their contacts within the Council of Waterdeep to beseech for a cleric to be teleported into their location. One does, and goes through the effort of bringing back both Odella and Rid. They both seem to be harrowed and haggard from their return to life, and in the process, they need to work off the resurrection sickness and bringing them back. So they all decide to go to Waterdeep and all go their separate ways, deal with this in different ways. Roswen goes to the Temple of Selene to try and learn more about the goddess, who she has had in some cases, intimate relationship with, but then has not received answers to some prayers and wonders why. Seeks guidance from the elders from that temple. Rid goes to the tattoo shop where she grew up in Waterdeep to work on tattoos, but also get them and try and get back to some semblance of normalcy. Leo, alone, decides to go to the yawning portal and have a drink, and is goaded into traveling into Undermountain by himself. And Odella heads to the shops to procure various different items for a secret and yet undetermined nature. They continue these efforts in Waterdeep, going back and forth from the town of Scornabel and the Primpen Pie getting pie, working at the shop, and then traveling back to Waterdeep via Roswen's abilities. They are seemingly interrupted when cultists attack Waterdeep, and they kind of bring things to their mind that this is still happening. The council then calls a meeting and says, "We have some excellent news. It seems that one of the higher ranking members of the Cult of the Dragon wants to defect to the side of good. He is asking for protection and extraction from a tower that he is currently in and is offering the prize of prizes, the Blue Dragon Mask. The party has since learned at this point that the dragon masks are of extreme importance in the process of raising Tiamat. If all of the dragons have been brought to the same location, that is one of the catalysts that will cause Tiamat to be able to be raised from the Nine Hells. So if they can secure one of the masks, that will prevent Tiamat from rising, or at least it will make it extremely difficult to do so." So with that, the party decides to head to Zonthal's tower, this tower that supposedly has this cultist in it. They make their way there and see the cultist from the top of the tower being attacked from behind, pitching an enemy off the roof, and realize we need to move fast to get there before the other cultists seemingly have learned of his defection will slay him. But first, they need to make their way through a magical hedge maze. This continues where we left off and will take us through episode 24 of the series.